Hello and welcome to this Feature Friday again, guys. This is, as you know, if you follow along, one of my most favorite moments during my social media week. And not only because I enjoy talking about social media marketing topics, but also if you have a Facebook group like I do, it's always fun to get to know new people, but it's even more fun when you get to connect with people that you kind of know. And that's the case with my guest today. Mel is one of the first travel bloggers that I have actually discovered when I started out with my blog, because she is just one of the funniest travel bloggers out there. And I've followed along her story, and so I'm very excited, A, that she is part of my group, and also B, that she'll share her experience as a virtual assistant today with us. And I see that she's already watching, so I bring her straight in because that's what we're gonna talk about today. It's all about business. So let's see what she has to say about that, and I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of fun. And it says adding, so fingers crossed, technology. Yes, it works.
Can you hear
Perfect.
me?
Hi, Mel. Yes, I can hear you.
Yay!
Perfect. And we share the screen. Everything is smooth.
Perfect.
Cool. So, Mel, I already introduced you a little bit. You are a travel blogger over at the Broken Backpack, and
Yes,
you've been doing that for quite some time.
yes.
And on a side, as a side business, you've started doing social media marketing or social media work for other people, and you created like a VA background. Tell us a little bit about it and how it all started.
Okay, so I first started as a blogger, like you said, and then when I first started the blog, I didn't know anything about social media, so I had to learn everything on my own. And at some point, I was kind of going back to Canada to visit my family, but I would be there for 6 weeks, and it was not enough time to find a job in Canada. Back in the days, I was not really making any money with the blog, so I was like, okay, I need to support myself. So is there like any skills I can sell? So I first started like as a social media manager via Upwork. And so I got two clients like that. And then after I started working for other travel bloggers I knew or I met in previous press trips. And yeah, then basically I managed to make enough money to support myself. And then over the
Awesome.
years, I got more experience, and I think a lot of people trust me also. So like I have a better network, I guess.
Yeah, do you think it helps a lot that people know you through your website, like your travel blog before? Is that
Yeah,
how?
well, I think the fact that I have my own website, it's kind of like my little baby. So like, I'm a bit of a control freak about my own website. So I like when I do something, I want to do it good. And people who like basically stalked me on my own social media or in my blog and stuff, they knew like they could trust me. And like especially like my first client I had, that was also a blogger. She met me before. So on a press
Mhm.
trip, so the fact that she could put a face, on me, and like she knew I was
Yeah.
doing a good job with my blog, and then she could also trust me with her own baby. And I think in a business like virtual assistants, everything even related to social media, if you're gonna get some help from someone else, you want to make sure they're not gonna, destroy everything you worked so far for.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
trust is really important. So yeah, I guess it was a good way, to for people to trust me and to get to know me a little bit.
Yeah, so that's probably one of the recommendations for today. If you want to start out as a virtual assistant, you need to like showcase a little bit your expertise, and having a travel blog or any kind of blog probably will help. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So, and when you started then, so it was more m- mouth to mouth, or did you, other than Upwork, did you use any platform to promote
Yeah.
your
So
service?
yeah. So basically, I landed my two first clients with Upwork, but then it was not a lot of money because Upwork they take enormous fees. Back in the days, it was not as bad as it is right now, but after that, the other way I found clients was via Facebook groups. So like I was
Okay.
already pretty active in many Facebook groups. So there is like many groups for virtual assistant for bloggers or like just even like digital nomads. And then I remember I was a bit desperate for money, so I wrote like a little post in a group, and I was like, okay, like I don't have a lot of experience. I really want to get into this, and maybe I can help. And then someone I knew basically saw my post on that wall in the group, and she was like, well, I'd be interested to work with you. So then after that,
Oh, cool.
because it was going well, then she recommended me to other people. And then most of my clients so far, I found them via Facebook groups. They see my name also because I'm pretty active. So like they recognize my name. And then once they're ready to hire someone, they know they can trust me also.
Yeah, it's actually how I found you too. Like
Yes.
I saw you in this Mapping Monday reshare thread, the
Yeah.
Pinterest thread, and I saw that Mel is popping up throughout those 250 Pinterest pins, and I was like, okay, so she's not only repinning her own or like participating
Hmm.
with her own pin, she's repinning for other people, and yeah, so this is a great way to promote yourself, like passively or indirectly.
Yeah.
But I think, like you say, it's also a very good way when you just start out and you don't have a portfolio and not a huge background with it either. Like you started from scratch.
Hmm.
So asking or sharing with your audience that you're actually trying to work on that and make it public, not only in your little head, like
Hmm.
here and I'm like, oh, I want to become this and that. You need to actually say it out loud and tell the idea to other people. Otherwise, no one else. How would they ever know that you want to do that?
Yeah,
So yeah, I
absolutely.
think you did that very very smart move. Cool. So and how is a like if you can explain a little bit what's a typical day in a virtual assistant, if there is any typical
Yeah.
day or what do you
Um,
do?
so like, well, it depends really who are my clients. So like, when I first started, I was doing a lot more contracts, basically as a freelancer, as a VA, or even as like a ghostwriter, social media manager. So back in the days, I was working maybe 8 hours a day for other people, which was good in a
Okay.
way because I would know for a fact that I would have money at the end of the month, right? Um,
Yeah.
so then I could not work so much on my own projects, but I would work more for other people. So I used to do a lot of Instagram, a lot of Pinterest, a lot of like social media managing. So I would schedule everything on Twitter or like everything for Facebook, or like participating in threads, let's say repin thread or like retweet thread, everything that travel bloggers are using mostly. And then, so I would spend a lot of time on that. And of course, over the years, I become faster. So now it's like I don't need to work as many hours. But also now that
Okay.
my own website also is better like monetized, I don't need to take so many clients either. So
Oh, good. So it's would you say it's now 50-50 that you do the
mm,
VA job and
well, like right
and
now, it really depends. Like, so I used to have like a lot of clients that I was working with for a really long time, but then the wage was not as good as like I was asking now. So like I had to let some clients go because at some point, if I will take my own time to work for other people, like I want my time to be worth it. Um,
yeah.
so right now I don't do as much. I also even hired someone helps me sometimes when I need. So and I actually physically met her and I trained her to do the things the way I do because I'm a bit of a control freak. Um, so like then I know I can trust her and I can double check everything she does and everything. But at least now I don't need to do so much work on my own. I have help when I need it.
That's so funny. That's actually another question because I saw when I did the poll in the group the other day, and then you answered, "I am a VA and I have a VA." I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, what?"
Yeah.
So she is doing VA work for your site, like your blog,
Um,
of
so
course, or not, or
So
outsource.
basically, so right now, like let's say most of my freelance work is a bit of VA, but I do also a lot of ghostwriting. So right
Okay.
now, like because over the years I built a big network of people who trust me and want to work with me, but then I don't necessarily want to do everything on my own. Some stuff are more interesting than others. Um, So then, because I have the network, then I hired some writers to help me with the ghostwriting. I also hired a girl to help me with social media. So like it really depends. If I feel a bit overwhelmed or if I want to work on my own projects, well then basically she does the job for me, and then I just double check everything and making sure everything is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like
That's
I
awesome.
mean, yeah, so like I can work on my, I mean, like, it's still my reputation down the line, right? So like, because it's still my name, so and as I said, I'm a control freak, but it's true. I want to make sure everything is good, and also that my clients, they get the service they pay for, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and it makes sense. I mean, you always, like, in this case, you're the business owner,
Yeah,
so it's impossible that you do everything on your own. It's
yeah.
always, no one runs a business on their own. No one.
Yeah, and even when you
Uh,
look at, like, let's say Facebook groups for virtual assistants, a lot of people now also hire other virtual assistants to help them. So it means that your business is
yeah,
going well if you're like in that position. It took me a while to
yeah.
get there, obviously, but like now I'm like, oh yeah, I think I'm making it right now. It's good.
Cool. And so, other than Facebook groups, you're not using any other platform anymore. Upwork is definitely
No, I'm not using
not recommended.
Upwork. I tried Fiverr also back in the days, but Fiverr it's really hard also because there's so much competition. So like, and then basically you don't get a lot of money for what you're doing anyway. But it was good.
Yeah,
Like like I tried at the beginning just to get clients like that. It was okay at that moment. Now it's like I don't need it anymore.
yeah, cool. And if you, well, if you can explain like a little bit in detail, so someone finds you and you say, and says, hey, I would like to hire you. What is the process? Like, obviously, you will need to get their passwords for the accounts, and
Yeah.
and and then do you do you also like yeah, walk us through a little bit how
Yeah.
that works.
So, excuse me. So basically, when someone reaches out to me, normally it's via Facebook because it's mostly from Facebook groups. Then normally
Hmm.
they know they need help, but they don't really know what they want from me. So at the beginning, it's
Okay.
kind of like narrowing down what they really want because having a VA sounds magical, but like then it means that yes, you need to give up like passwords and like you need to give up control over your own business also, which like sometimes can be a bit tricky. And I know I'm not the only control freak out there. I know some clients, they have a lot of requirements and stuff. It's normal because it's all our baby, right? Um, so
Yeah.
after we decide what service they're interested into, then we fix the rate. And then to get started, of course, I need the passwords. So normally they email me their password, and like then I keep like a spreadsheet because I'm a spreadsheet maniac, and I have like the passwords for everyone. And then basically after I start the work, so normally I'm paid up front. Um, and I
Okay.
also provide reference. So like, let's say if someone decides to hire me, but they don't really know me, then I can give them reference from other people that they can assure that, yes, I'm going to do the job. You're not going to pay, like, and not getting the
Yeah.
job done, basically. Um,
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
yeah.
Good that you can already do that.
Yeah.
And they pay you, do you set up like, I know it, but I still pretend I don't know. So how do they pay you? Via PayPal?
Yeah, yeah. So they like most
Yeah.
people everybody knows PayPal. Everybody has a PayPal account, so it's just the easiest way for me.
See.
I know some other people
Yeah.
could use like TransferWise or like any other kind of like wire transfer. For me, PayPal is just the
Mhm.
way to go because it's just easier. Everybody has it.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about setting up a contract, or has ever someone offered you a contract like for ongoing projects, or is it always a one-time thing that you say
It really depends
you?
on the clients. So like most first clients, like when I started 3 years ago, most clients they would have like a contract, depending also like if it's like long term things also because I was working for people for like almost a year sometimes. So then we had like a contract like with like confidentiality and non-disclosure things. Um, so it really depends. If it's just something mostly for like Facebook or Pinterest, normally it's really like there's no like written contract, but like they have to let me know at least 1 or 2 weeks before that they want to stop. let's say if they do it every week. Otherwise, it's pretty like informal.
Informal, yeah. Okay. And if you can think of any like general tips that you say, I mean, like with any type of job, obviously a virtual assistant job is not for everyone, but what qualities or skills should someone bring uh, if they want to work as a VA?
Well, they need to be super organized, because like if you're not organized, first you need spreadsheet. I think spreadsheet is the way to go. But I mean, you need to like first like make sure that you're gonna respect the deadlines. That you need to like keep up with all the passwords and like making sure that like if you say you're gonna do something, you can deliver. Um, so yeah, you need to be honest, you need to be organized and disciplined, and you also have to be willing to give up your own time to work for other people's project. Because when we all start as a digital nomad, we want to work on our own stuff, but sometimes we kind of have to pay the bills. So that means that maybe you will have to work as a freelancer for other people. It can be a bit frustrating if you end up working like 12 hours a day for someone else instead of working on your own stuff. But at the same time, it's kind of like it's like a path to choose. Like you either do that and make sure you can pay the bill at the end of the month, or like then you work on your own project, but maybe you cannot pay the bill at the end of the month. So you have to be willing to give up that time, basically.
Yeah, it's well, it does make sense, and probably, I mean, it will make sense for most people who are watching right now, because uh, it's a work in process, right?
Yeah.
Uh, if you want to build up your own business, there's always either you're super rich and or have a sugar daddy, but most of us we work for it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a sacrifice.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
And speaking of being organized, do you use any tools, like, or what tools do you use to schedule people's posts? What could you
So it
recommend?
depends. I mean, like all my clients, they use different tools. So like back in the days when Twitter was a bit more popular, because now they change a lot of things in their algorithm, like in the past year. So now a lot of people decided to like discard Twitter. But back in the days, Buffer was really popular, and then now you can use Buffer for Instagram or also for Facebook or like other platforms. Um, so I used to love Buffer. Now I don't even use it anymore. Tailwind for Pinterest is really it's a good tool. Like now Board Booster doesn't exist anymore, so Tailwind is the way to go. I use Planoly for Instagram, and otherwise I use like different tools. Like there is like a to-do list extension I have on my desktop, and basically so I put all my deadlines, and then I have like little alerts, reminders to help me stay organized. Otherwise, I use a lot of spreadsheets, as I said. And then working with clients, sometimes we use like the shared spreadsheet, like via like Google Drive, which is really helpful. So like, let's say they can see where I am in the work, so they can keep track of what I'm doing, and also like if they need to like give me some links or whatever they're doing, but then at least we have everything at the same place. And it's all shared and it's
Yeah,
live, so then it's easy to keep track.
yeah, absolutely. Makes your life easier, and peace of mind for the clients, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. And I'm curious, if you say you've done a lot of Instagram, like sharing for other people, how does that work? Because I mean, you first need to get access to their pictures too, and I don't know if you also do stories for clients. That's probably
No. So
not
like
possible.
I haven't done Instagram like lately, but when I first started as a VA, I did a lot of Instagram. Basically, so the deal I was having with them, it was like they would still post their own photos. My job would be basically to engage with other accounts. So all the time-consuming things that they don't want to waste, I would be like liking, commenting on photos, following other people. So basically all the things that nobody has time for, that would be me doing it. But it would still be in charge of answering their and reply the comments that they have on their photos. I would just do the interaction with the other accounts.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And now, but now you don't do it not so much anymore. Just you
Well,
don't like it, or?
I mean, like
not so
right
much
now,
connect.
like Instagram has changed a lot in 3 years. I had difficulty to keep up with all the change and the updates and stuff with the algorithms. So I have put that on the side a little bit because I was feeling I could not give the same result as I used to. So I was kind of recognizing, okay, Instagram won. I cannot win against them. So like then I decided, okay, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so, if you can tell us what is the most favorite part of being a VA, what would you say? And it can
Um,
be,
I think it's mostly like all the networking and the connections you get with people because like sometimes I work with people for a really long time and then I actually never meet them and like when I finally meet them I'm just like, oh my god, it's so much fun. But it's like I don't know, you kind of build like a relationship because like some people I would talk like every week or every day or something. Um, and it's like I don't know, like the networking part about it, and like then if they like what I do for them, they will also recommend me to other people. But I don't know, like all that kind of social vibe around it, and like
yeah,
for me that's the easiest part probably, but also the most fun because the work it's not that exciting honestly, but I mean you have to do what you have to do. But yeah.
could be worse. I'm surprised you're not saying it's the fact that you can do it from anywhere in the world, since
Ah,
you're
but
also
okay, so
like
because
right
this
now you're
is
in Bali.
yeah, okay, so yes, I'm in Bali. I live in Bali. I guess like for me
Yeah,
this is so anchored in me because I've been doing this for 4 years now. Like I've been abroad for 4 years, being a digital nomad for 3 years. So I don't even think about this,
yeah,
but if like you're right,
it's
that's
so
the
normal.
best benefit from it, of course.
Absolutely. Not going into an office building every
Oh
day.
yeah, of
I
course.
Yeah, and of course I have to ask that question too. What's the worst part of being a VA for social media?
So I think it's having bad Wi-Fi. Okay, so like if you're traveling, okay, though, but let's say I have deadlines, right? So like I've been like sometimes in situations where the Wi-Fi was not strong enough, but I still have to get the job done. That can be really stressful. So I
Yeah,
always like tell my clients in advance, like if I know I'm going in a zone where the Wi-Fi is a bit tricky, then I would tell them in advance, I'm not sure if I can get the work done for that time. But sometimes it
okay.
happens, like let's say the Wi-Fi works, but not fast enough. So like then everything you try to do takes like triple time, like to do it. So like basically
Yeah,
I'm losing money and time, but I have to do the job anyway. So I think that's the
yeah,
worst part of the job, but that comes with the lifestyle also. So it's better when you can make sure you have good Wi-Fi. um, Otherwise, it would be hard to do
do
the
you
job.
do you never use a SIM card, a local SIM card?
Oh yes, I do,
And
but sometimes like let's places like let's say India or like some like
yeah,
China where like it's so complicated, you need a VPN and the internet is so slow. Like there are places like where even if they say they have
it's a
Wi-Fi or something, you cannot relate on it. It's just not fast enough to do like all the Pinterest or like everything else you could do.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been there and still am. Every now and then, Wi-Fi really can be a pain
Yes.
sometimes. So well, I know you don't have a page where you promote your VA service, or
No.
do you? No,
No.
you don't. Do you? If someone now thinks about jumping into that business, you say you can live without that promotional part and just network. Network is the way to go.
Yeah, the
Or
thing is like because I already had my website, I already had like a platform to showcase what I do. So like I could always invite people to go check my social media or like my website. But of course, if you don't already have a platform like this, it's better to have like a platform to advertise your services. It's really normal now for VA to have a website because I don't want necessarily to do that for 10 years. Like I'm not planning on making a website for that because I already have like a reputation and like people already come to me anyway via email or via
yeah,
Facebook like Messenger. So like I don't feel the need. But for someone who's starting, that would be recommended, and I would recommend also that they go in a Facebook group and network the most that they can. That's the best way to do it.
and maybe we type it into the comments below, but if you can name the 3 best groups for people to look for
Yeah.
VA gigs.
Yeah, so
What is
like
your most favorite?
basically everything that is related to digital nomadism, like but let's say your group or like female digital nomad or like freedom seekers. Um, there's so many like I'm a member of so many groups, but everything where like they look for people basically. I know in Bali they have like Bali digital nomad, Canggu digital
Yeah.
nomad, and then people are, let's say they are here to start their business or like launch a project, so like they don't necessarily know everything, so they look for some people. Like we're here right now, I'm in the co-working space, and it's also a good place to network. So if you're physically somewhere where there's a lot of digital nomad, maybe you have the skills that they're looking for. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I find this very interesting, and it sounds like a smooth career path for you.
Yeah.
And very cool. There's no questions from people, so if you're watching right now and have a question, this is your last chance to ask Mel something. If not, leave a comment below after you've watched, because the live is about to be ending now. Unless you have some final words that you want to share with the audience,
No,
anything
I'm
you want
okay.
to say.
If you have any questions or something, you can also message me directly. That's fine. I'm really kind and Canadian, so I'm happy to help.
Awesome. Okay, cool. It was really lovely chatting with you. And finally, also, I told it in the introduction, because I feel like I know you for ages too, but we've never actually spoken.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
yeah,
Well, thank you very
it's
much for
fun.
inviting me.
Thanks for taking your time. Very insightful. Thanks for sharing. And yes, guys, leave your comments below and give us a like if you liked the video. And then that's it for our Feature Friday. Mel, enjoy Bali, and I'll see you around. And
Yes.
you guys have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.